Hey, hello again in another exciting tutorial about Unity and Playmaker and regarding shoot 'em up. And on the last episode, we already discussed how to create, how to set up the enemy boss, the movement, the animation, and now we are going to go further with the enemy boss episode. And in this episode, we are going to create shooting system for the boss and also a health for the boss so we can defeat this boss. Okay, so now let's start to create the shooting mechanism. So we already have a FSM under the Astra Boss 01 and we already have a shooting mechanism here, but we haven't set up anything regarding shooting. So I'm going to create a new variable, integer variable, and this will be shooting. How do you okay how many shots? That is a quite long variable name. So how many shots, let's set it to 10 at first, and we are going to decrease our integer by using integer add because we don't have integer subtract. So I'm going to subtract the how many shots with -1. So we are going to add this variable with -1 is equal to subtracting with -1 with 1, and then we are going to add a new state here below, and under finish we are going to compare. So in I'm going to make the wait time smaller, maybe around 1 or 0.1 or 0.15, and this here we are going to compare integer. So we are going to compare how many shots, and we are going to add a finish or a, so if it's equal we are going to go set to finish, or less than we are going to go back to our first state here, but if it's still greater than we are going back to shooting here. So we are going to shoot again, and I've already created a prefabs, a boss laser here. As you can see, I've copied our blaster, but I've deleted the other blaster, so it only have one particles, and I've set this particle to be in the middle of the parent object and the box collider to be around the size of the particle. So this is our boss blaster. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to use that particle as our boss laser, and you can set this blaster tag to beam. It's okay. And then now we are going to go to our Astra boss, and under the Playmaker shooting mechanism we are going to create an object and put this on the top stack of our action stack here. Choose the game object, and we are going to choose that Astra blaster. Where is it? Okay, sorry, this is this one, Astra was 01 blaster. And for the spawn point we are going to spawn on the right side of the shoot point, and we are going to add this action by duplicating by pressing Ctrl C and Ctrl V, and we are going to change the spawn point to the other shoot point left. So we are going to shoot two different bullets at the same time, left and right. And for the Astra Burst blaster here, if I go to the blaster prefabs, we have a state just like our bullets or the standard blaster, but we have reversed the Z value to a minus -35. So it will go from the top side of the screen down to the downwards. Okay, now let's see if it's working, the shooting part here. So we have our boss here, and it will go to the left, and it will shoot ammo there, as you can see, and here it will also shoot ammo. Okay, there is a problem though. Under our playmaker, we have this integer counting, right? So if it's 0, then it will stop. But back here, we need to reset our integer value back to 10. So whenever it starts shooting again, it will shoot 10 times. So set this value to 10 and change the integer variable to how many shots. Save this and let's try this. Okay, there, as you can see, it has a shooting 10 times, and also here and there. I know this is quite a bit this is quite easy, the pattern, but I'm sure you can create a better boss pattern with a more harder shooting pattern also. So I leave that difficulty customization to you guys. Okay, so now let's create health for this enemy. Okay, so now we are going to create a new FSM. But before, we are going to rename the first one, the shooting FSM, to a shooting FSM. And let's add, and I'm not going to add, but I'm going to copy our other FSM from this fighter low prefab. So we have a, I think we have a enemy lives. So I'm going to copy this component, enemy lives, and then under the extra boss, I'm going to paste this component as a new composition, new component, and we are going to have a new FSM here. So I'm going to send the hit by player also to decrease power. So let's send back to this part here, and we are going to set the enemy power to a very large number, let's say 50. So it needs 50 times before it gets destroyed. And okay, I think, is that okay? Yep, I think this should be work. And I think we have another thing. Okay, let me check it. Yep, we need to set a trigger, animator trigger, to our enemy lives here. So whenever it gets hit, it will trigger the hit animation. So use set animator trigger, and we are going to use owner because we have this animator on this object here, so we don't need to assign it to another object, and trigger the hit animation. Here under animator we have a hit with the capital H. So but one thing I've noticed, that when I'm trying this method, the hit animation, there will be an error if we don't change the interpolation. So in order to change the rotation interpolation, select the Astrobus 01 rotation and right click it, and under interpolation I'm going to change this to Euler angles quaternion approximation. I don't know why, but with the Euler angles, when we will have a lagging performance. When it gets hit, the animation, it will lags, and somehow the object will be missing from the screen, so it was glitchy. Okay, now let's try this. There you go, we have a but we don't why the animation is that's not working. Okay, so let's see, under the layers, additive animation, I've already set this to 1, and this is additive. Yep, hit but never get triggered. Okay, let's see the animation here. Okay, there is a problem here. The hit animations never gets triggered, so let's check this again. Whenever it get hit by the blaster, let's put animator trigger on top of the, uh, maybe it's never get executed because this action is below our float compare. So whenever we reach the float compare, it will go to another state, so it never gets triggered. So let's see if it's working now. There you go, we have a hit animation. But there is a lag, so I'm going to remove our exit time here and fix duration and zero out all of the transition here, and just disable the exit time for this animation. Okay, so we are going to use the exit time here. Maybe just set a duration to a small value and exit time 0.7, so it will transition faster back to our empty state here. Okay, I think this is better. When we shoot, okay, we can fix this by disabling the loop animation. So as you can see, the animation is sometimes looping at least twice here. So choose our Aster Boss hit and disable loop time. Okay, so now let's shoot this. It's get triggered twice. Yeah, when we hit this a couple of times. Okay, I think that we will tweak the animation later. Now we are going to set the destroy part here. So we are going to fix the destroy object here, because when it's destroyed right away, it look a bit funny. So let's disable destroy at first, and we are going to create a new animation for the Aster Boss here. So let's save the scene, and I'm going to go to our prefabs, and I'm going to drag the explosion here, and I'm going to make this explosion a child of our Aster Boss here, and let's zero out the value here and stop. And we are going to put explosion maybe in this spot here, and we are going to copy this a couple of times, and let's destroy this here. Also add another explosion maybe in the front part of the ship, and let's move this to the rear side of the ship. Okay, so we have a animation here. Okay, so let's disable all of this explosion here, and let's create a new animation. So we are going to create new clip here, and go to our projects, assets, animations, and rename this Aster Boss Destroy. Okay, so now for the destroy part, we are going to enable the child object explosion here. So we're going to enable one child over here, and maybe another child here, and after a while the next child here, and the other child we enable here, and the last one be around 1 second and 10 frames here. So we are enabling the child game object over time, so it will not be enabled together, have interval between the child object. Just move this slide here. Okay, so now we are going to trigger this animation, but we need to set this under our additive animation. So here we can go back to the first state, and I'm going to copy the SRBOS destroyed state here, and under additive I'm going to paste this, and let's make a transition to that SRBOS destroyed, and let's create a new trigger, destroyed. Okay, and let's set this destroy trigger to be the condition triggers from any state to SRBOS destroyed, and make sure that the animation, the SRBOS destroyed, is not set to loop, so disable the loop. Okay, now next we are going to enable that here. So let's set animator trigger. So let's set an animator trigger here. I think it's destroyed. Let's see if it's correct. Okay, destroyed, and yeah, I think that would be okay. It should be okay. And destroyed. Okay, go back to our go back to our Playmaker here, and we are going to remove this create object. We don't need this, and we are going to we can delete the blaster here, but we are going to remove destroy self here, and we are going to enable. So I'm going to add a rigid body here to our SRBOS, but I'm going to disable use gravity and enable schematic. But go back to our animation. Let's remove these two properties here, because I accidentally record this state changes here. So disable the recording button and disable use gravity and set schematic. And under destroy, we can drag this rigid body here, and we are going to set the property. So first I'm going to set the property of schematic. So I'm going to disable kinematic, and this is already set to false, and I'm going to enable use gravity. I think we have a use gravity option. Okay, sorry, we're going to use this one, and I'm going to remove the set property, and we are going to use the set is kinematic. So there is already an action for this, so we are going to disable. So uncheck the kinematic, then we are going to use gravity, and then we are going to set a wait action, and set the wait action to around maybe 5, or let's see, for 5 seconds if it's enough. Add transition finish and add new state, and from finish go to this new state, and after 5 seconds we should go to this finish transition. And last, we are going to add a destroy self under this new state here. So basically what this FSM is doing when it gets destroyed is start the destroying animation, and it will fall because we are going to enable the use gravity, and we are going to set the schematic to false, so it will behave as a dynamics object, and it will fall, and after 5 seconds we will destroy the object. So hopefully after 5 seconds this enemy ship is already below our ocean, so we cannot see it anymore. So save this, and let's try this. So I'm going to try to destroy our boss here. Oh, what's wrong? Okay, select the SR boss here. Okay, oh, it's already destroyed, but somehow it does not fall. Was it because the animation? Okay, we need to fix this. First, we need to disable the shooting FSM. So add and enable FSM here, and we are going to use owner, and we are going to disable shooting so it doesn't shoot anymore. Let's wait for 10 seconds and let's disable the animator. Oh, but if we disable the animator, it will not, the destroy animation will not work. So I think, let's see our animation movement. This is the position, right? Okay, we have a Z position value. So I'm going to remove our, oh sorry, we cannot remove this. Can we override this with remove? Oh, okay, so we cannot split this. Can we delete the keys? Okay, yes, we can delete the X, the Y position, so we are moving only the X and the Z, and hopefully when the dynamics starts to take over here, when it gets destroyed, we can move on the Y axis. So let's see if it's working. Okay, so now it's destroyed, but why it does not fall? Okay, I'm going to stop the recording for a while. I'm going to inspect this problem. Okay, the fix is quite simple. Here, in order to make the Astra boss fall when it gets destroyed, under the use gravity, we are going to change this to a specified game object. And if you remember that we have already created a rigid body here on the parent, so we are going to set this rigid body to our parent. So we don't need, actually we don't need this rigid body on our SR boss 01. So drag this boss enabler to the use gravity and also set the kinematic to the specific game object, which is the boss enabler. And there's one thing I want to fix here. Our shooting point, the position is too close to the object, so somehow the objects always gets the enemy gets hit, or we are going to change the boss blaster, the Asta boss blaster with another tag, which is the enemy beam here, so it will not hit itself when it starts shooting. Okay, so now let's see. Sorry, one more thing. Under the Esther boss here, under destroyed, 10 seconds is too long, so I think 4 seconds would be enough. Change the wait to 4 seconds and see if it's working. Okay, now we are hitting the boss, and now when it gets destroyed, it falls to the ground and it will get destroyed. So yeah, there is, I know it's not quite perfect here, the bus, but there is the basic mechanism, and I hope you can tweak it to your needs in your projects. And if the animator, the boss hit animator did not work, we can always disable this trigger under the decrease power here. Sorry, under the decrease power, and disable and see if this better with when we're, yeah, maybe it's better because we don't have this annoying repetitive animation when the boss enemy gets hit. So yeah, and this is quite easy because maybe the boss enemy, or the boss health is also too small. Make this a larger value, and you will need to create a more challenging boss pattern to create this boss more harder, and maybe also with the shooting pattern, so you can always change the event animation event here under the boss movement, and when should your boss start shooting, just add this send event. But in order to use the send event, you will need to have only one FSM. So whenever you want to edit the send event, just copy the other FSM, which is the enemy lives, to another objects for a while, and change this value or change the timing. And once you finish editing, just copy that FSM back to your Astra Boss 01 object, or your boss enemy object. Okay, if you have any questions, just leave under the comments below, and I'll try to get back as soon as possible to you. If you like this, please subscribe. I really hope you enjoy this tutorial, and I really appreciate any donation. With donation, I'll be able to create a better tutorials, better content, and more often, and most important, free of ads. So I hope I'll see you next time on another episode on Unity 3D tutorials with Playmaker. Thanks for watching. Bye.